Welcome! This presentation explores how cultural factors shape business economics around the world and why culture matters for strategy. Over the next slides, we will map how societal traits influence pricing, contracts, innovation, and competitive advantage, and we will point to practical levers firms can use to turn cultural insight into sustained economic performance. Here we present a simple framework that links cultural drivers to economic shifts and strategic outcomes. Things like consumer preferences, wage bargaining norms, tolerance for corruption, and appetite for innovation feed into price sensitivity, contract enforcement costs, and R&D returns. And those economic shifts determine whether culture becomes a durable advantage or a costly barrier for firms operating globally. Trust levels in a society change how businesses operate at a basic level. High-trust environments reduce monitoring, enable leaner contracts and just-in-time supply chains, and improve unit economics, while low-trust settings raise frictions, working capital needs, and insurance costs. In short, culture flows directly into unit economics, essentially influencing costs, risks, and operational frictions firms must manage. Different cultural orientations, like individualism and collectivism, create divergent business strategies. Individualistic markets reward personal achievement, premium pricing, and customized products, whereas collectivist environments favor group loyalty, volume or loyalty pricing, and standardized solutions that emphasize community benefits. So businesses must adapt pricing, hiring, and product design to match local cultural incentives. Controlled lab studies comparing China, France, Niger, and the US show persistent gaps in cooperation, risk-taking, and time preferences, even when income and institutions are held constant. Those findings indicate culture independently shifts economic behavior, meaning cross-country differences in decision-making are not just about resources but about deeper social norms that affect market outcomes. Regression evidence links cultural traits like individualism and generalized trust to higher GDP per worker and long-term growth, even after controlling for capital, geography, and religion. This suggests culture operates through resource allocation and innovation channels, shaping generational productivity and reinforcing the case for treating cultural variables as core drivers of economic performance. Product attributes matter differently across cultures. Origin labels, organic claims, GM1-free status, and national identity influence willingness woe in ways that vary by market. The practical implication is clear: firms should localize product attributes and messaging, rather than rigidly exporting a fixed formula, ensuring offerings align with local preferences and capture maximum value. Cross-border deals often suffer value loss when corporate cultures diverge. Post-merger cooperation can decline, raising integration costs, driving employee turnover, and delaying synergies. The remedy is proactive cultural due diligence built into pre-deal assessments so acquirers can identify misalignment risks, plan integration tactics, and protect expected value before closing the transaction. Cultural distance can be measured using Hofstede dimensions and World Values Survey metrics and converted into a cultural distance score that informs strategy. Firms can then adjust hurdle rates for perceived risk, tailor marketing mixes to local norms, and refine governance structures for cultural fit, because ignoring distance raises failure probability in joint ventures and greenfield investments. Operationalizing cultural literacy means aligning incentives, delegation, and compliance with local norms. Adapt reward schemes for perceived fairness, vary delegation according to trust levels, and design compliance programs that match hierarchical or egalitarian expectations. Doing so reduces operational risk and boosts employee engagement, improving retention, motivation, and overall performance across culturally diverse operations. Trade openness, migration, and digital platforms create exposure channels that push preference dynamics toward either global standards or reinforce local identity. The strategic implication is that firms must continuously monitor evolving traits, segment markets dynamically, and update messaging so products remain relevant as cultural preferences shift through trade, mobility, and online influence. In summary, culture systematically shapes costs, demand, and innovation potential, so developing the capability to quantify cultural dimensions and adapt strategy is now a competitive necessity. Embedding cultural analytics into market entry, product design, and talent management turns cultural insight into a repeatable advantage and ensures long-term economic resilience and growth.